was like, okay, what happened? I got the
Yeah, that's
rails.
good. That's good.
Um, and there's math, there is math and science. You got to measure stuff,
Oh yeah.
to know when one chemical is going to turn it into a bomb versus, uh, something else more, paste or something like that. Um, so, math should be, it's our friend. It really gives us control measures to how we want things to come out
Mm-hmm.
and how the
That's a
variance.
lovely, yeah, I like that a lot.
Mm.
I mean, I love math,
Mm,
but it's just because I like the challenge, I like puzzles.
yeah.
But as you were talking, Sandal, what I got from that was it gives a bit of an experience of of knownness.
Yes.
Like where does it begin and
Yeah,
where does it end?
Known and unknown, this discovery.
Yeah.
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 Discovery and control over your decisions and confidence in your assessment.
Yes, I like that, Kayla's confidence in assessment. That's a really good way of introducing math.
So I'm loving this. So now I'm relating this to relationships.
Right?
Oh, everybody
Right.
was like,
Oh,
how
that's
much do you
great.
put in? Like,
Yeah.
let me just put a little of this in and see what kind of reaction we get. Oh, okay. Let me try a little of that. Oh, that don't work. That don't work. But this is what I got to give. And if what I've got to give that naturally comes out of me isn't received, then I need to know, don't put it there,
Mm.
right?
Hmm.
Math, chemistry, science.
So when you say when it isn't received,
Uh-huh.
like what tells you if something's been received? What comes from you naturally? Because at first, when you said, let me put a little of this, a little of that, I thought, ooh, and there's where I need to remind myself that I get to choose because putting a little of anything, I'm finding with connection, I tend to just pour, you know?
Yeah, as I gain more and more experience, I have to respect the beingness of
Mm,
other people's beingness. And if I pour something of me or expose something of me
mm,
that infringes on them, that tax them,
mm.
that tax them, then it's no sense in me pouring more into it. It's like salt.
Yeah.
Salt can enhance, but baby, you that top fall off and you got all salt. It's like who
Oh, it's
wants
so
it?
bad.
Yeah, yeah. So, but it's boundaries.
Mm,
It's like regarding other people, but just because I can't pour that into you, that doesn't mean it makes me less of me. I just
mm,
let it flourish somewhere else.
mm.
Let me take care of my meism. I'll just give you you know, what works for you. Or I also have enough tools in my tool belt, enough chemicals in the chemistry room to like, let me try purple durple instead of green bean.
Mm. I love that. That's a useful analogy.
I'm
Thank
working
you.
with someone right now. It's like they can't get when I'm around them, certain aspects of my beingness just like, like goes, ooh,
Yeah.
right? But, I had to like, understand my me of it. Some of it's timing, some of it's chemistry, some of it's just because, I haven't played with that in a while.
Mm.
And, but they're not there. They're not there.
Mhm.
So I'm not gonna like share what they're not there to receive.
Mm.
It would be catastrophic. It would be me disrespecting them
Mm.
and me disrespecting me. I got to take care of my energies. And
Mm.
I've had to go in the corner and sit down and go, okay, what am I doing with that? You know,
Cool.
but it made me think about myself.
You're asking questions.
Yeah. And some parts of me want to like throw a tantrum. That would be beautiful, wouldn't it? Act ugly. That
Mm.
would be beautiful, wouldn't it? Judge or blame them for this wobble that I'm having.
Mm.
That would be beautiful, wouldn't it? No, I don't want that. So I'm just gonna, take a time out and enjoy the sun and enjoy to enjoy what is. So instead of some of my automatic behaviors, from old shitty structure. That's what came up. Some old shitty over anticipated, expected structure said, oh, we're in charge of this. I'm like, no, that don't work. That don't work here. That don't work now. And as a matter of fact, I don't even like it. But it came up because of the environment seemed like it was this is what's going to be, this is what's going to happen, da da da. And it's like, nope, nope. So it gave me a chance to really do some reconstruction, like tear down some old barn walls that just, you know, think they belong there because they've been there. They haven't been challenged in a while.
Mm.
So I'm thankful for the exposure. And I'm thankful for my
Yeah.
maturity to recognize and do the inner work before it came out like a victim or offended or any of that other stupid crap that makes us act like a spoiled child, like we got a right to act like that.
Mm.
And I sat back and I said, if I act like that, the way I was, little rumblings of feelings that was coming up, if I acted on the impulses of those feelings, I would have really been out of the character of who I choose to be.
Oh, my mom got dropped because her Wi-Fi was bad. Sorry, I got distracted by a text from her. And I
Hopefully she
pulled
can
you
come
all
back.
into it. She'll join again when it's back up.
Okay. What do you think about that? Those wobbles that other people bring up that they're not responsible for.
I think that being interested in it is the most useful response, you know. And sometimes all you can do is ride the roller coaster. but to feel the rise, like if you recognize a drop is coming and you prepare yourself to, not throw up or like lose your hat on the way down.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be, it doesn't have to have like consequences for other people. Or like scream into your neighbor's ear.
Or end up catastrophic for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a really interesting thing to bring up. And I think that the key is the pause where you allow
Mm.
yourself to
Ooh,
investigate,
and love
right?
to hear that.
Yeah, and choosing to do that is you gotta
Pause.
be, yeah, you gotta be remembering that you can control your movement and your temperature and check in with yourself,
Yes, this is good right here. Really
Ooh,
good. Pause is the name of my coaching business.
really?
Oh, nice.
Stop.
Right.
That's so
Wow.
good.
That's great.
You might have thought
Love
the
it.
name was choice, but no, it's pause.
No, that's so
And
Yeah.
good.
so wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it. Here it comes. Pause is the acronym for personal accountability under self evaluation.
Wow.
That's
That's
That's awesome.
fantastic.
beautiful.
It's awesome,
That's
Sindel.
so beautiful.
Oh, love it,
Wow.
love it, love it.
And you described the, you know, that personal accountability part, bracing yourself or holding your, not losing your hat, holding on to it, or directing your screaming if you do outward in front, not in the person's ear. Person, I mean, you did it so lovely.
Personal accountability under self-evaluation.
Yes,
I'm writing this down.
yes, yes.
Hey, Joe.
That's beautiful. Hi, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Where are
Hey,
you going
beautiful
with that gun in
people.
your hand?
I'm just
You just said
listening
it.
in,
Everyone was
man.
thinking it.
Great to be here, guys. Big love to you all.
Big love, big love.
Big
So
love.
there's something that came to me with the pause, and when you were talking your steps through, Kai. And it was what I felt was that we need our heart connection for those steps, because our heart connection brings the feeling of our experience.
Mm.
And the fact that people get to where you have gotten to in terms of realizing the value of the pause, for me, that I have such a good feeling in my body when I hear people saying that that is what is important for them, because then I know that the heart is strong. The connection to the heart is strong, and it's strong enough to be able to expand more and facilitate awareness. more awareness. And that's expansion.
Got some fun visualizations happening with that description based on this uh like a magic kind of mystery romance that I've been reading this series. I'm sure I mentioned it before when I started, but it's all like witchcraft and magic and the character has this, she weaves spells and she has this chain that she's forged that connects her to this guy that she loves. But when you describe that, I'm like thinking that I'm picturing this chain of light, like connecting my heart to my head. And then seeing that expansion is allowing it to become like a web that connects the rest of my body and also a light that like shines beyond, right?
That's
Mm.
really beautiful.
Fun, like a tree growing roots. I love it. That's the other thing is like picturing roots coming out of your feet can be a good way to remind yourself to pause, I find. I don't do it often, but it's a pretty useful. It's like quite effective in reminding you that you're connected to, like that you have a physical presence. You're part of your physical surroundings, and that you determine both how you feel by showing you that you can feel more grounded, and that what you feel can determine what you do. You don't have to do what's automatic.
So sometimes I think we when we don't pause, we do what's automatic. We react based on old patterns and old outcomes, which is the past, is not being present. And we rely so much on that without thinking, without allowing our heart to feel being present. It could take us off into a tangent of old behaviors and actions and attitudes. Like we can presuppose that somebody's a particular way when just like we can change, they can change too, but we don't leave room for it. And those old filters just like can really sabotage the quality of our day-to-day experiences, our growing. I think empathy for ourselves and others and even circumstances, it gives us that space in our hearts to not presuppose.
I think so too. And I also think that I thought of something as you were saying, when we're reacting based on our past and recreating things we've experienced, there's this feeling of, there's this like lack of empathy,
Mm.
for that past version.
Mm.
Right? It's all those times that you weren't giving yourself that empathy. Those are the times you're looking towards. And even now, when you point to them, you're not offering yourself that.
Mm.
Okay, I have to sit with that. Not giving empathy to the past non-empathetic moments.
And
Well,
so
you know,
and so those moments keep on coming back.
yeah, because you didn't, if these things that you don't want to repeat are these moments where you weren't having that self-compassion to give yourself the pause,
Mhm.
to allow yourself to choose how to navigate and to assess your present moment. And it's like they need you to give them that acknowledgement.
Mhm.
You need to work through it internally and allow yourself to sit with how might that have felt if I was there and I then gave myself this
Oh,
pause.
oh, thank you. Thank you. I just got a big dimension of empathy and
Awesome.
understanding
Mm,
for in MagMind when we do the stadium, when all our past
mm,
personalities and
Mhm.
characters and everything comes and giving them that acknowledgement for who, what, how they showed up to being the best that they could be, no matter
mm,
how wonderful and whimsical or how fucked up they behaved. It doesn't
mm,
matter. But they
mm,
were there, and to have empathy,
mm,
that is the magic in that awareness.
mm. Yeah, and
Wow.
like say you do have a moment where you react and you recreate something, a previous moment where you also didn't have the time to pause. In that realization, then is still an opportunity to pause and ask that question, like do what you were talking about with that person that brings up this different flavor that they can't receive, right? And you go, what am I going to do with this? And you allow yourself to try to work through it and give yourself the pause rather than beating yourself up, because then you're just you're just cementing that experience. And then it's natural for your brain to try to like figure out it's trying to figure out what went wrong by doing the same thing until you allow yourself to figure it out by giving it that pause. So if you keep doing the same thing and you can't pause while it's happening, you
Mhm.
pause, you pretend it's happening, you pause while it's happening in this pretend version,
Mhm.
and you try to rewrite the thing that's being replayed, right? That's like I started to talk about it and then I realized that this is exactly Phil's process, Mom. This guy
Yes.
my mom had me have a session with, I feel like I just figured out why he was getting me to do what I was doing.
Mm. It's a good. I'm so glad you can made that connection because that was there for me
Yeah.
immediately. Yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, I see what he was saying now. I was kind of like, well, why?
Yeah, like I'm seeing what something was before too, seeing
Mm,
it now. You're having that kind of an experience. I think this is really cool.
mm.
And I see myself functioning on like 3 or 4 different planes simultaneously
Yeah, why not?
as I, yeah, as I go to engage in a situation
Yeah.
where I reserve my giving and I feel good about it because I'm in control
Mhm.
and I'm aware of the multi-dimensionality of my past, what I want for my future, and what I want to experience in the now, because I want the now to be gracious. I feel like this is grace.
Yeah.
People say, there goes grace, there goes simultaneous love and forgiveness and unconditionalism all at
I
the
mean,
same time.
that's beautiful. And like, there's no question to say that having this conversation might impact how you might navigate something like that in the future, but having that experience internally, yeah, like
Mhm.
even less doubt that that would affect how that process would go. That's cool. And then there's also having empathy for the fact that you can't do that for all of the times that you have not taken the pause, because that's a whole lifetime for a lot of
No,
people.
there's now. That's grace. There's now.
There's right, give it
Yeah.
grace, give it grace,
Yeah.
and be present. Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't want to end up hung up in the past, right?
Only as it comes up in my presence,
Yeah,
I can
cool.
reconcile it
Yeah.
with who I am now, what my
Hmm.
awareness is now, what my
Mm.
intentions are now.
Okay.
Mm.
I just love your pause.
Mhm.
Mm.
Personal accountability under self-eval. I'm just like reading it over and over again. I keep flipping back to the page.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And it's just the title. Wow.
Yeah.
So
And it
what
took
are
me
we pausing?
acceptance. Go ahead, please.
Cat.
Acceptance. Acceptance. So what are we pausing?
Pause. Get it? Pause. Pause on the cat.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I like it. We're pausing.
AWS.
What are we pausing?
Yes, we are trying to pause.
Yeah, stop distracting us with a cat.
No, it's fascinating. It's wonderful.
I guess you're pausing like the the reaction. But I'm picturing like a chemical reaction, like this turns into this, turns into this,
Mhm.
and you're allowing yourself to balance your equation.
Mhm. Do see
Yeah.
like an awareness is like she's giving us the pictures of the meaning to her in the background. Like that's deep. Like it's revealing deeper inside of us. So, what are we pausing? We're pausing our power.
Pausing the past.
We're pausing the structure, which is the power of like how we see it. So our focus is our power. So we're pausing our focus. We're disrupting the pattern, the structure. That's the pause. The
Mhm.
pause is what I would normally do. I'm pushing pause on that tape recorder because our focus is our power.
Yeah, it's like a disrupting
Yeah.
pattern.
And so, how is your focus out of 10?
So I get the vision of, like you say, you have a picture, a movie, you pause it, when you pause it, you have a frame, and then you can zoom in on where you feel the most energy. Because if you come back out, all of the other stuff can be normalized distractions.
That's it. It's not focused.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
Pausing,
oh, go ahead.
pausing the past from the present.
That too. Yes. In a in time sense. Yes. In the category of time. Yes, we are.
And power too.
In power. Energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Energy. That's the other thing that we could, like, these things are our power, right? Here, like taxes, the word power triggers people negatively. People are like, oh my God, I can't be a superhero. That's how they relate to the power. Or they say, oh my God, I like, or they can be attracted to, yes, I love power. I mean, we see it front and center in America today. Now it's the pause. We're pausing the structure, the reaction, the automatic, because, and then it's like putting awareness on our focus. So how is your focus out of 10?
Can I interject with something? For me, when you said that we pause our power, I did a double take. Because for me, pausing is the power. The automatics, I can see why you say that the automatics are power. There's another word also that I have been playing with in terms of automatics, and it's compulsion. But for me to pause feels very powerful, and more powerful than just continuing with my automatics. And yet I can see what I can also see that we experience power in our automatics.
So our focus is our power. So how is your focus out of 10?
You're asking all day long or in a moment? In a moment, it can be pretty high. It can be between an 8 and a 10. All day long, you got to keep on bringing it back. That's me.
My instinct with Jesse's first, with his like version of it, with the power being, like I was thinking the pause is like where you're just feeling. So like the power goes to zero. It's just energy, like not running in a current.
Mm.
But I did not get the visualization that Cinderelle gave until she gave it, and I really like that too.
Why people need to hear it different ways, but the core message has to be the same. So the more we can speak to the fundamentals, so our focus to the fundamentals, opens more space to gather. See, focus is our power. Our ability to pause every moment of what shows up. Can we do it? Not at all. Takes way too much energy. So how is your focus out of 10?
5.
I love that you're asking it again and again and again because I don't have an answer. My mind is like in outer space, it's introspective, it's like where am I reaching to get that answer? And I'm evaluating the effectiveness of my focus and what I am creating. And so, in so many senses, if I had to show production, I'm not outwardly producing to say proof like this is production, but there's an infinite measure of experiences that I'm having in my in understanding what this power is, of resonating this power. So where is my focus? My focus is drawn one way, like in such a big embodiment right now in one area that I can always come to. But you can be someplace, but your focus be somewhere else. Like I can be in Kentucky, but my focus is in Maryland. And what I really am open to harnessing here by you asking the question again is making me aware so that I can outwardly produce this thing that that I see it in my mind, but I don't see it in my hands to share with another. So thank you for the question. Let us continue.
So how is your focus out of 10?
Vibrational. Depends on what I'm doing. If I'm looking for my intuition, my focus is close to 1. If I'm doing working with something, my focus is more like 9.
So in this conversation, my focus is like resonating, like is bouncing between 8 and 10, like so much energy, kinetic energy. So that focus I'm very satisfied with. Very satisfied. And focus and fulfillment and satisfaction. Those are things I'll come back to. When I'm painting, I'm like focused. It's like everything else goes away. So my question, how do you measure focus? How do you measure focus?
How focused are you, Jesse, in the silence?
5.
5.
Yeah, same. 5.
Now my first answer was, so here, like, I'm going to end the experiment for a second. Just kind of, or better yet, here, let's put pause on the structure. Yeah. Sindrell, great. Like, just notice your answer. Not Sindrell, everyone that answered, thank you. I asked a question, right? That's setting up a structure. I asked a question to each of you in our gathering, in which I answered myself. I just didn't share it.
Mm.
I was expecting a number. The way I framed the question, obvious. So that I was expecting a number doesn't mean that I would get a number answer, would it?
No.
So what
Nope.
would happen if someone gave me an answer? I don't know how many we got until I finally got a number, but maybe it was 5 answers. So if I was expecting a number and you gave me these other answers, what would you do?
Keep on asking the question.
Mhm.
Shifting the focus.
Shining the light. What's your number? What's your number? What's your...
Now,
Let me
my
focus.
old self would have gotten frustrated because you weren't hearing me because all but I and nor did I have the awareness to say, look, I'm looking for a number, but I've learned not to judge your answers because what matters is the space that you answer with.
Mm.
What matters is you answer, not your answer, but it's like that you answer, that you do it, that completes the structure.
It's an exercise.
Yeah.
It's
It's
an
a
opportunity.
practice. Our focus is a practice, and our automatics is our focus is distracted. So our power is distracted, and we're putting pause on the distraction.
That was good.
And like you, Jesse, I answered it, not verbally immediately, but I did answer it. And then I did share, I was waiting for a pause in the communication to share my number. And so, yeah, just observing, observing,
Mhm.
pausing.
And it's like I chose 5 because 5 allows me to go either way because I know that's where I'm at. Because when I put my attention on it, like I do for 2 hours here, I can get much deeper in it than when I go out there.
Yeah, it's
But
easier
I'd
to
only look
focus.
at it as a practice, as a skill. So here we're practicing, it's like we get to feel what it's like to pause and be in the silence,
Yes.
to focus our power. That's what it's like to focus your power is that. So it's like, how often am I feeling this throughout my day?
Yeah.
Because that's the compass. That's
Yeah.
the north, your North
Yeah.
Star. It's like, yes. So in my answer, it was like, and so you'll see is like I didn't constrain the question. I'm more interested in how you create your answer rather than judging your answer. Even though I'm expecting a number, it's like, wow, they're not giving me a number. Are they avoiding the number? Is that their ego avoiding the number? Are they doing their pattern? I just sit and wonder.
I don't know.
For me, it was a journey to explore and to seek what that number would be. I just wasn't there instantly.
That's right.
That's
Yeah.
why I can thank you for the question.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you didn't shine a light on a number for me to get to, but you shined a light on my answer, my path. That there is a path. Take the walk. I welcome you to take the walk. I welcome you to go where you don't know. I welcome you to experience what you're experiencing. That if you knew a number, if your number was a truth for you, go to where that number is and sit with that with yourself and just be there and know it for what it is. And it's okay.
And also, it's like take awareness to another level, it's like my number went from 5 to 3.
Mhm.
Ah, wow, interesting. Not only did it give an answer, but it gave a directional. So it went from 5 to 3, which means, oh, so I'm aware at times, and other times it seems like I can improve. I can do better. And it's like, oh, wait, is that just my pattern? My automatic? Because that is my structure, not good enough, unworthy. Yeah. It's like, oh, is it just my pattern, or is it a message that's telling me, oh, what can I do differently? What is there to explore? Which one is it? All this is going on in that moment of the pause, by the way.
Mm.
What's going on in your moment of the pause? Because I'm explaining mine, which must mean that I can experience like that. Now you could say is like, oh, is your focus to that level? Oh, Will, we're a 5. Yes.
I'm a 3 now. I got
Oh, so my 5
distracted
to
in the
3
mental
reduction
chatter.
was for you, not for me. Okay, good. Good.
Okay,
As long as we
yeah.
got that out of the way.
Okay.
I was a
I,
5.
I'm just gonna say, and this is me, that when we rate things like on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your number? And people come up with 5. I feel like, and this is me, I feel like there's more, like it's so neutral, like it's not a, it's like it's like not making a decision. It's like staying on home base and not playing the game. Is it more?
Neutral. I'm going to say that. Thank you for
Mm-hmm,
sharing your neutral. My neutral is a place of power.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Right.
So just to make sure that we don't hold the same neutral sensation, that was my third awareness, was like, oh, did I pick neutral just to pick neutral to like my ego? Is my ego just trying to say that I'm here? And it's like, no, you're neutral because that's where all the space is. Oh yeah, that's what I'm working today, is space. Circled back to my intention. It was my feedback loop. So it's like, oh yeah, truth.
Can
Great
you talk
awareness
to
though.
me about feeling your power base at 5?
Neutral. I can go to 6 or 7 so much easier. Sorry, I can go to a 6 so much easier, and I can go to a 4 so much easier. And then I can take it as far as I want to, which is the awareness. That's the power of the focus. So when I'm in neutral, I can choose which way I need to go, and I don't have to put very much energy to see exponentially huge from neutral.
Yeah.
So if you think of a battery, negative, positive, to flow from a negative to a positive is impossible because you have to pass through neutral.
Like shifting gears, eh?
Like shifting gears, you got to put the clutch in.
Yeah.
Unless it's an automatic, which is what we already are. As an automatic, we're just putting the clutch in to pause it. And you can always go to the next gear, or you can go down, right? So that's neutral for me. If I think about it, because I don't want to be on a 10.
Yeah. Unless you're in a focused creation where your attention is focused on one thing.
But like 10, I put a limit on the 10, and I don't want there to be a limit. See, I mean, I intentionally did it, yes, to structure an answer, to structure a demonstration, which is what we are in.
Yeah. Every day.
Yeah, in here, like putting awareness on it right here, of like the power of the pause of our awareness.
Oh my God. Thank you. I'm getting it. Like,
yeah,
you have more more zone of awareness available to you at 5.
Yeah.
From which you can make more choices. But if you're, like, say, emotionally, you're focused on something and you're at a 10, you can't see what else is really happening. You're not, everything else is still happening, but you're so deep into your thing that you don't have the power of the base of 5 to have that massive exposure of awareness that you could be functioning from. Like, I see like a Jedi, like all around, seeing, being very in tune and aware, and using those aspects to co-create that are needed from that base of 5. I'll think on that some more. Thank you.
The intention of this session is awareness of. Now, I had to name it an hour ago. Just think of that power.
Wow.
And I had no idea what it was going to do and turn into, but yet right here at the end, from 6:45 to 7, was the biggest demonstration, the breakthrough around awareness, the power of pausing. Sindrell, plug that. Yes, you're pausing. Yes, you're teaching people how to pause. And it's our focus. Yeah, it's the focus, the awareness of. So the awareness of our focus, awareness of the pause, awareness of what just comes to you and what actions associated with it. Now, those are levels of awareness. Neutral. We're all energy. Energy is charges, positive and negative, and neutral. We always forget about the neutral, just like we forget about the now. So the now and neutral are the two places of power. So put your focus there. And then when it comes through from the heart, which is another, like what we practice here, now it's in alignment. Now, we're not always in alignment. That's where the wobble comes in. And it's like, oh, my constraints, the way my structure has me feel like there's a wobble, or they are doing it to me, so I'm wobbling. Oh, I'm only looking at it one way, which is why I have the wobble. I just need to open up and see it a different perspective. Oh, now there's not a wobble because you've got 2 points. Kunk, it's a foundation, a structure. Funk, funk. Oh, and I can feel whatever I want in the middle of that. That's where the pause happens. Boop. And that's awareness at 7.
Mm.
Hope you all have a wonderful or neutral angelic day ahead of you or evening.
To Kailash.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I'll
that's
see you
let's
next
say,
time.
Kailash.
Bye.
Hi, Kailash. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, Kailash.
And it's Allison, our identities are what trigger when we take things personal, is what causes the biggest wobbles. And like Heinz's word today of detaching, it's like, oh, we got to detach from the attachment to the identity. And we just pause and we observe it to be like, wow, all those personalities, right, that are gathered at the stadium, right? Sometimes they need to come up on stage and say whatever they need to say, as crazy as it's going to be. They're afraid as hell to do that because the last time they did that, right, so they're fearful. So you did whatever to them the last time. They're fearful to come to the stage. They have to know that it's safe to come, that they can come to the platform and say, express what they need to say. That is detaching, that is letting go. And our patterns, our automatics are always playing, and others can see them because we can't see our own.
Mm.
And every structure, every pattern, like it wants something. So even that I tell myself I'm not worthy, not good enough, like my underlying self still wants something. We don't have the words for that because we haven't explored it. We haven't gone through that feeling. We haven't faced that unworthy and seen all the attachments we have to it.
Mm.
Because when we let go of it, then we can see the other side, and then we begin to see how we can be worthy. And you see, now it becomes a whole. We see the whole unworthy pattern, and then we start to build worthy patterns. And that's the feedback loop. So we're just pausing. It's like, oh, is that my automatic response? Or what do I choose? What could I do? What could I experience? So that's the pause. And without, it's like power in the pause. Because there's so much potential in the pause.
Mm.
When you don't pause, the only potential is your automatic. So,
Now I'm going to sit today with my languaging with focus and awareness.
Thank you all. My gas tank is full.
Great
Thanks,
day, Sandrell.
Sandrell.
Have a great day, Sandrell.
Tap on and
yeah.
hang the
Have a
line
hug.
up and
Hi,
ride
Sandrell.
off into the horizons. Thank you.
Yes.
It's been beautiful.
Scatter lighter and brighter. Thank you all. Day
you.
two of year 3.
You all have a beautiful
Thank you
day.
all. Have a wonderful day.
Here's
Thank
to
you.
freedom.
You all too. Enjoyed our time. Look forward to this weekend celebrating the beginning of year 3.
Stay blessed, guys.
No, bye,
Bye,
Joe.
everybody.
Hi, guys.